Hey, what's up? It's Jim. This is my 91st Academy Award or Oscar prediction. Yes, I'm going to predict who will probably win, even though, honestly, I hope that none of my predictions are right because that would make a much more fun show for me personally, and I hope I'm totally wrong, but most likely I am right and I won't be surprised at all, and I just get to be disappointed. But you get to hear my disappointment a week early. So here we go. I'll talk about the animation categories first so you can watch those and then tune out for the rest and scroll down to the best picture part if you would like to. Let's talk about some interesting facts about the best animated feature category. This is the third film in a row, or animated film in a row, that is directed by Brad Bird that's nominated for best animated feature. The other two times he was also nominated for best original screenplay, not this time. This is also the first time a Japanese film is nominated that is not being produced by Studio Ghibli with Murai, which is actually a big deal and I wish people would make a bigger deal of. And Murai is a really great motion picture. But the movie that will definitely win is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's not just because I picked it as my best movie of the year, plug or whatever. It's also because it's basically won every best animated feature that there is to win, basically, at this point. It is the first time Sony's been nominated since Surf's Up in 2008. Best animated short, I have no clue. First off, Bao, I guess, would win because that's the only one any of us have seen, so I'll be like, I hope that wins because we don't know nothing. Except for someone who, in the comments, is like, I saw the other ones, good for you. The other thing is Animal Behavior, which is directed by the team who made Bob and Margaret. Remember them? Probably not, but I do. And then Weekends, which was sort of a Pixar short as well because it's made through a co-op program which permits employees to use their resources to make independent shorts. If you'd like more information, get a fucking job at Pixar and talk to their human resources department. Let's go through this shit. Alright, so best visual effects. You got 5 nominees in best visual effects. You got Solo, A Star Wars Story, Ready Player One, First Man, Christopher Robin, and the thing that'll win, Avengers Infinity War. You're probably like, why do you say that? Because you like Avengers Infinity War? No, because Marvel has been campaigning like crazy this year for the Oscars, and the people who are of Marvel obviously have been putting this in there as well. It's an obvious thing to give them. Infinity War was a huge achievement. It's something to give it to them. And honestly, do you really think it's going to go to Christopher Robin or First Man? I actually think they're dumb enough to give it to something like Ready Player One. And even though I don't agree with Ready Player One being in there, a lot of people have been bringing up the Shining sequence, and then you're like, oh, that was actually really good. So I don't feel as bad about it now. But Infinity War is probably going to win. Best Film Editing, which is a sort of a weird category this year because the 5 nominees are not really any of the front runners. So that's weird. Not sure what's going on there. Usually people say film editing is a clue to what Best Picture might have been if there are 5 nominees or something, or you can't win Best Picture without winning Best Film Editing, which like isn't true all the time. So basically, people put a lot on this category. It's film editing. Who you have in here is Vice, Green Book, The Favorite, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Black Klansman. Who do you think is going to win? It's going to be Black Klansman because the editing in that actually gave you more of an intense experience because of the cutting between the news footage and everything like that. And it was actually fairly seamlessly done between what is kind of a pretty standard, you know, well-directed, kind of fun cop movie with historical footage and footage of now, and I thought that was done very well. It's also done by a guy who's a well-known documentarian, Barry Alexander Brown, and frankly, none of the other movies I mean, maybe The Favorite, because that got a lot of nominations, but I kind of think more Black Klansman. Alright, the category you've all been waiting for. Best... Wait, where are we? Best Costume Design. So you got 5 of these. Who cares? It's going to be Black Panther. Best Makeup. You got 3. You got Border, which is the movie they always nominate a weird movie. Don't go Suicide Squad was weird. That's not the that was weirder than one. But they usually pick like a foreign film that you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, and you're like, okay, and then you never see it. Anyway, point is Border's in there. Mary Queen of Scots and Vice. Vice is gonna win. There you go. Because I don't know, they made Christian Bale look like Dick Cheney. That's a thing. And Vice got nominated a bunch of times. It's just gonna happen. Best Cinematography. We have 5 nominees here. 3 which are foreign. In fact, only 1 was shot in America or something. right? Star is Born, I think. Probably shot in Toronto. Wow, America's not doing so good in terms of cinematography. So, basically, this is Alfonso Cuarón's Toulouse. He's going to win because Roma looks really beautiful. A couple things that are interesting in this category. The guy who shot Star is Born also shot Black Swan. Never Look Away, which was a surprise nomination, is shot by Caleb Deschanel, who's Zoe Deschanel's and that lady in Bones, maybe's dad. I don't... Who's the other one? Emily or Sarah or Sal? There's another one. Doesn't matter. He also shot The Right Stuff and worked a lot with Mel Gibson, which is a little weird, but I guess we're letting that go. Robbie Ryan, who shot The Favorite, who I thought did a very good job, and Cold War, which I have seen and have shot a review and need to edit, has kind of more a 4:3 kind of Academy ratio kind of thing, so it's kind of a little perplexing that it got a Best Cinematography nomination in this day and age, not because I hate that kind of thing, just because I don't actually think the Academy has the most wide open view of cinematography, so respect, but it's definitely going to go to Roma. Best Production Design. The thing about Best Production Design that you need to understand is that Hannah Beachler became the first African American ever nominated for Best Production Design. I think it's pretty much going to go to Black Panther because the production design was pretty good. I could see it going to The Favorite, First Man, and Mary Poppins and Returns, and Roma are all nominated, but they ain't gonna win because it's really between Black Panther and The Favorite, but it's gonna be Black Panther. Next up, we have the double deuce of... We have Best Sound Editing and Best Sound Mixing. Now, these are pretty much the same nominations, exactly, except for one notable difference. In Best Sound Mixing, you have A Star is Born. In Best Sound Editing, you have A Quiet Place. They kind of flop. The other four that are nominated in both are Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, and Roma. So how's this going to go down? Best Sound Mixing, I think it is actually going to be Bohemian Rhapsody. Star is Born has a chance because Best Sound Mixing is more about mixing. You know what? Look up how sound is done. I don't know. I'm not going to teach you in this one. Who cares? Best Sound Editing, we're moving on to Best Sound Editing. I kind of think I am going to go with Roma. However, I can understand if you would think Black Panther would win. But I'm going to go with Roma, just because I feel like if they're going to give extra tech stuff to anything, it's probably going to be Roma, because Netflix be paying a lot for that shit. So Best Original Song, it's going to be A Star is Born for Shallow. There's like, what other... Come on. It's just... You know, interesting thing about movies that are called A Star is Born that are nominated, no movie called A Star is Born has ever won more than one Oscar, including the 1937 one, and the Barbra Streisand one, whenever that came out. The 50s one didn't win anything, which is fucking bullshit if you ask me. But Shallows is the one that's going to win. Star is Born will probably do the same. In that it'll only win one. It'd be cool if it broke the record, not because I think it's the best Star is Born, just because that'd be a cool thing to be different and stuff. Best Original Score. Of these, I think the guy who did, Nicholas Bertel, who did the score for If Beale Street Could Talk, did the best score. Who I think will win, I'm going to go different on this one. The one that's not really nominated for any big Best Picture things, because it's Isle of Dogs, If Beale Street Could Talk, Black Klansman, Black Panther, and Mary Poppins Returns. I'm going to say Mary Poppins Returns. I didn't even see that movie. Mark Shaman's well respected. Why not? Best Live Action Short. I don't know. Best Documentary Short. I don't know. Where are we at? Okay, Best Documentary. Since they didn't nominate a bunch of stuff that I have seen or should have seen, I'm just going to go with RBG because people in Hollywood are liberal, and also, in addition to that, it's the one most of them have seen. Hulu got its first nomination for Minding the Gap, also in this category, which is kind of interesting. Free Solo is a movie people have heard of, and there's 2 other nominees. We got to keep moving. No one's going to watch this video in a week, so we got to do this quick. Best Adapted Screenplay. We have 4 nominees in here. Star is Born, which is apparently based on a story which is written by Robert Carson and William Wellman, who of course I love, and I've reviewed everything he's directed that I can plausibly find, which the original Star is Born won its only Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, interestingly enough, but it's also based on the 54 one and the 76 one, because it says that right there. I remembered suddenly. Barry Jenkins is nominated for If Beale Street Could Talk. Can You Ever Forgive Me is nominated. Black Klansman and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs for only 2 of the stories within the whole film, those being All Gold Canyon, which is a Jack London story. Yes, that's the one of Tom Waits, and The Girl Who Got Rattled by Stuart Edward White. which is the one with Zoe Kazan. Yeah, so, but the rest of it is original, which is sort of weird. I don't know if that's happened before. I didn't look it up. Who cares? Anyway, so who will win? Of these, this is actually pretty easy because it's really just between Stars Born and Black Klansman. I kind of go back and forth between Stars Born and Black Klansman, to be honest with you. But if we're being real with it, they want to give Spike Lee something. I don't actually think they're going to give him Best Director this year, so they're going to want him actually give him a competitive Oscar. He's actually won an honorary Oscar, and I think he won a Student Academy Award back in the day, but he's never won a Oscar in competition. This will take care of that, and it sort of makes sense, and they really do like Black Klansman. So it'll probably win Best Adapted Screenplay, and they sort of hate Bradley Cooper for some reason. Maybe it's because for The Hangover 2, because that wasn't that great. I didn't see it, but just that's sort of what I heard. Best Original Screenplay. This, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I want to bring up that this is Paul Schrader's first nomination, who had, by the way, he had the greatest statement after getting a nomination that although he objects to the Academy and their choices, he was very much thrilled. Kudos, Paul Schrader, kudos. Also, seriously guys, Paul Schrader now, like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, you just like let that go. Cool, I have total faith in your category. Moving on, though, basically, Best Original Screenplay, you have The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice. I think most likely, actually, this is between Green Book and Roma. Now, you're probably like, Jim, it's probably just going to go to Roma. And I'm sort of half between Roma and Green Book. I haven't seen Green Book at the time I've shot this. I will have seen Green Book by the time I see the Oscars and all that, and I'll hopefully have a review on it. But I kind of want to go with Green Book just because I think Green Book sells a lot of momentum behind it. But I also want to go with Roma, so... Do I have a coin or something? I don't know. See, Netflix has spent a lot of money on their campaign, which I think could work. But I also think Hollywood's stupid, so I think I'm going to go with Green Book. Because what do I think controls Hollywood more? Stupidity or money? Wow. I've entered quite a quandary, but it's going to be Green Book. I'm going to go with Green Book, and then Peter Farrelly can say something sort of creepy about racism. I'm looking forward to that. So let's get on to the Best Supporting Acting category with Best Actress. Amy Adams is the second most nominated actress in this category. I forget how many, but she's been nominated a lot. You have a surprise nomination from Marina de Tavera. Then you have Regina King, who's most likely... Okay, Regina King's going to win. I think Regina King's been winning everything. The only times people have won in any of these other, like the SAGs and all that stuff, is times when Regina King isn't nominated for whatever stupid reason, so it sort of doesn't count. I think Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz seem to cancel each other out, although I'd say Rachel Weisz sort of has the edge, it seems like, according to BAFTAs and other things. And I think people kind of miss Rachel Weisz, whereas Emma Stone were like, we've had enough of you. Not that I've had enough. She should actually do more movies that people should actually see, to be honest, but I think it's really going to be Regina King. Best Supporting Actor. There's not much to really talk about since this was Mahershala Ali, but I'll talk about stuff anyway. I think it's really cool that Sam Elliott and Richard E. Grant both seem to be loving that they're nominated and are having a lot of fun for two older guys, and I think it's really deliciously awesome to watch, and I almost wish they were nominated all year round because they're having so much fun with it. I think they sort of canceling each other out. Richard E. Grant is just like loving it, and it's wonderful, and I love watching him love it, and it's just beautiful. They're so happy to be nominated. Like, they're people like, I'm just happy to be nominated. Those dudes are just happy to be nominated, and they both deserve it. Sam Rockwell, not really. Adam Driver, I didn't think he was better than Kylo Ren in this. I also thought Michael B. Jordan should have been nominated in this. I think that was sort of bullshit because Killmonger was awesome. But it's going to be Mahershala Ali, and Mahershala Ali's a great actor. Best Actress. Melissa McCarthy's nominated. She's her second Oscar nomination, which is sort of interesting. Roma got nominated in this category as well. Lady Gaga is nominated. This is her first acting nomination, and it's the first time anyone's been nominated for a lead acting Oscar and for Best Original Song, because Barbra Streisand didn't write her shit. And also, because it's never happened before previously, I think it was last year, Mary J. Blige was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. And for writing a song in Mudbound, she didn't win either of those, but she did make history by doing that, and Lady Gaga has done that further. But this is really between Glenn Close and Olivia Colman. I don't think it's going to be Olivia Colman. I mean, she's a very well-respected actress. I've respected her the whole for forevers and stuff. But I think it's going to be Glenn Close. She's been nominated like a slew of times. She's never won. It should happen. Let's go with it, despite the fact that no one's seen The Wife. But oftentimes, if you look at Best Actress, they usually let someone win for a movie that you're like, did anyone see that? Like Julianne Moore. What was that movie? Like Still Alice? Or, you know what's funny? I forgot it, and I'm pretty sure it's a movie about Alzheimer's. It just seems to happen in this category. You always have somebody who you're like, what was that movie? What? And you see it on an airplane, you think about it, like you could watch The Wife, and then you're like, ooh, Navy SEALs. Anyway, so Best Actor. Best Actor is sort of a little more interesting. Willem Dafoe is nominated. I think it's been nominated before. So this is Willem Dafoe's first lead acting nomination. Good for him. He got nominated last year. His fourth nomination overall. Viggo Mortensen's only been nominated and in the lead category. Bradley Cooper has been nominated before in this category. He has 7 nominations total. But this is really between Rami Malek and Christian Bale. Difference between Rami Malek and Christian Bale. Christian Bale didn't act like he didn't know about any of that creepy shit Bryan Singer did when we all knew about that when Days of Future Past opened, which was, by the way, in case you didn't know, way before Bohemian Rhapsody happened. I think Rami Malek actually has a chance, but I think Christian Bale has a bigger chance. 1, because Bryan Singer thing. 2, because if Christian Bale wins, he will be of only 13 actors who won a Best Supporting Actor and a Best Lead Actor, and that is a quite prestigious group to be a part of. Jack Nicholson, Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, and quite a few others. So he will only be the 13th person to do that in Academy history. Do I think Christian Bale is good enough? Yes. Did I think Vice is good enough to get that kind of thing? No. But whatever, Bohemian Rhapsody, it's like whatever with all that shit. I do think Christian Bale will actually win. I don't think Rami Malek will win. I wouldn't be surprised if he won, but it's really between those two. It's Viggo, and I think Bradley Cooper is maybe 3rd, Viggo 4th, and Willem Dafoe. It's just cool that he's nominated, but I'd honestly respect them more if he won, because Willem Dafoe's awesome. Best Director. Alright, here's the thing with Best Director. The first time you've had 2 Best Foreign Film directors nominated in the same year, with Paweł Pawlowski with Cold War and Alfonso Cuarón with Roma. Alfonso Cuarón, this is his to lose, and he's going to win, so it doesn't matter. But who else is nominated? Adam McKay, good for you, buddy. And Yorgos Lanthimos, who actually a director I really respect. Kind of cool he's nominated. But who does this come down to? Really, the only kind of second in line is Spike Lee. Now, before you go, but Jim, why are you giving so much to BlacKkKlansman? But I think it's because Spike Lee has never been nominated for Best Director before, which is fucking ridiculous. And he has such a long, prestigious career, and he's so influential. And it's kind of ridiculous that this is the first nomination ever. And I think that sort of bothers the Academy. And it would be a good, career kind of win. If he were to win, he'd also be the first African-American director to ever win Best Director. 6 African-American directors have been nominated for Best Director. No one has been nominated more than once. But I think Spike Lee has a chance, but it's just that this is Alfonso Cuarón's year. This would be his 2nd Best Director Oscar. Now, Best Picture is a weird category. We don't usually have kind of an up-in-the-air Best Picture race. It seems to happen every now and then, especially with more nominees, which is weird. But how do you do Best Picture? Because it's different than all the other categories because of the preferential voting treatment nonsense. And so what you have to do is sort of take out anything that has divisive opinions. So you have 8 nominees. Who are you taking out? Vice, no chance in hell. Green Book, not happening. Bohemian Rhapsody, Bryan Singer. So then BlacKkKlansman, I don't think so, guys. Then Favorite is a little too weird. So who are the 3 that it has any chance of actually being? And those would be Roma, Black Panther, and A Star is Born. How you do this is you look at what are the movies that most people are cool with. Most people, you can show them and they're like, hey, that's a good movie. And you're not going to have too many divisive opinions, in general. We're talking very broadly here. This is a stupid Oscar. So, Star is Born's not going to win because they hate Bradley Cooper, probably for Hangover 2. And then you come down to Roma and Black Panther. I can see it going to Black Panther. I really can. But I think it's definitely going to be Roma. If Roma wins, it will be the first foreign language film to ever win a Best Picture, and that is really awesome. It would also be the first time a Netflix film has won Best Picture, which would be a huge deal. I have to applaud Netflix for kind of going up this hill with like Roma, which is not an easy film necessarily to win Best Picture. Like, it's a black and white foreign language film, and if they pushed it all the way to the top, frankly, they can do anything. And as a cinephile, that's an awesome thing. They didn't go for like the easy Best Picture thing. They went for the really hard one that like people would fall asleep during and be like, this is a weird foreign movie and stuff. The fact that they can do that is really awe-inspiring and awesome as a company, that they would believe in a director's vision as fully as they do. But I think it's going to be Roma. Those are my Oscar predictions. Again, I hope I am wrong. I will be back here the day after the Oscars wearing a tux, telling you what I thought about them, and then we won't have to talk about these anymore. Sorry I didn't have an Oscar nominations breakdown thing. I wrote a script for it, but it was just getting too late, and now here we are, and now I'm doing predictions, and I hope you liked this video and all that good stuff. Hope you have a good Oscars. Leave comments below telling me Oscars are stupid, Jim. Why do you make these videos? Or what are your Oscar predictions? Or how I'm wrong? Or just, I don't know, a poem about Joanna Man. Whatever. Comment below in the comments, all that nonsense, and subscribe if you would like